Fred MacGuffin reviews, yeah. Fred MacGuffin reviews, yeah. With spoilers. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. I'm going to delve deep into Dungeons and Dragons, a movie from the year 2000. It's action, adventure, fantasy, all that good stuff. Okay, so this was directed by Courtney Solomon, who also directed An American Haunting and Getaway. So yeah, he didn't do much since this. What else? I'm going to start with the prologue. This will give you a taste for the movie. The Empire of Izmir has long been a divided land, ruled by the mages, an elite group of magic users. Okay, so the mages, the magicians, the wizards, they seem to be the bosses. They seem to be the governors of Izmir. Now, Empress Savina, played by Tora Birch. Tora Birch was in Ghost World, Hocus Pocus, American Beauty, The Walking Dead, and Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger. And she wants equality and prosperity for all. She's against the mages. She's a very good ruler, and she wants fairness and equality. But there's an evil mage, Profion, and he has other intentions. And Profion is played by Jeremy Irons, of all people. Yes. Now, Jeremy Irons, you've seen in Dead Ringers, The Lion King. You haven't seen him in The Lion King. You heard his voice in The Lion King. Batman v Superman, Justice League, House of Gucci, the Watchmen TV show, The Borgias, Eragon. Yeah, he also went as fantasy again with Eragon. I think he's a bit of a fantasy sci-fi fan, our Jeremy. Yeah, fair play to him. Kingdom of Heaven and Die Hard with a Vengeance and a lot more. He also won an Oscar for Reversal of Fortune. So you have an Oscar winner here playing a wizard. So what do you do when you have an Oscar winner in your movie? Do you say, look, Jeremy, do what you want to do, go for it, ham it up, I don't know, you're the man. Who am I to direct you, Jeremy? You just go for it. So yeah, you get Jeremy Irons in this, and he really goes for it. He needs to be reined in a bit, and I think he needed something to make him look, give him a Gandalf beard or a wizard's hat or something, or make him look a bit fantasy-esque. But anyway, he's in this, so he's Profion. He's our bad guy, and Profion has a sidekick called Damodar. And Damodar likes to wear blue lipstick. Fair enough. Okay with me, Damodar. You want to wear blue lipstick? You go for it. You're the tough guy. Damodar is played by Bruce Payne, and you've seen Bruce Payne in Passenger 57, Highlander Endgame, Full Eclipse, Absolute Beginners, Solar Warriors, Howling 6, The Freaks, and Switch. And yeah, he gets some major shoulder pads in this. He's got big shoulder. Yeah, he's got big shoulder pads. Anyway, but he does the trick. He's menacing enough. He's doing his best. Okay, let's go. What else? So at the start of this, we have Profion, and he's trying to control the dragons with his rod of magic, and he loses control. And the dragons. Now the CGI here is not very good in this. It's like a cheap TV movie, and it lets it down a lot. Profion loses control of the dragons, and one of them gets crushed on this gate, and there's blood flows into the river, and it sets fire to the river. And watching all this is our hero, Ridley, Ridley Freeborn, and he's played by Justin Wallen. Now, you've seen Justin Wallen in Child's Play 3, Serial Mom, The New Adventures of Superman, and For the Cause. And yeah, he's good in this. He's what would you say? He does his best. He's likable. He's charismatic. This could have been a big break for him if this movie had hit big. So yeah, it's funny it didn't work out. He wasn't an established movie star, so that might be in the problem with this movie. You needed someone that was established and could carry this movie, and you needed better CGI. I mean, the dragons they're not good. It's not good CGI. It lets it down a lot, the CGI in this, which is a shame. But were they trying to jump on the bandwagon before the Lord of the Rings with this movie, and just get ahead of the Lord of the Rings? Because yeah, but there was a movie for this called Dragon Heart, and the dragons were a lot better CGI. It stars Sean Connery doing the voice and Dennis Quaid. Still wasn't a great movie, but CGI was a bit better. So maybe they just didn't have the money to spend on the CGI for this. Okay, let's keep going with this. So we have our bad guy Damodar, and we have one of our good guys, Justin Wallen, Ridley, and his sidekick in this is Marlon Wayans, who plays Snails. Now, Marlon Wayans has been around for a long time. He's done a lot of funny movies, and he's a great sort of comedy foil for Ridley. Now, you've seen Marlon Wayans in White Chicks, Little Man, G.I. Joe, The Rise of the Cobra, The Curse of Bridge Hollow, Respect, Scary Movie 1 and 2, Requiem for a Dream, Mo Money, Above the Rim, In Living Colour, Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, Norbit, The Lady Killers, The Heat, 50 Shades of Black. So he's done a lot of movies, a lot of funny movies, very funny guy. And he brings a lot of fun to this. But I don't know. Maybe too much. Anyway, don't know if he's the right. But yeah, it feels like he's in the wrong movie. Just put it that way. Okay, so they want to go and steal from the magic school. They go and do that, and they get caught by Marina. And while they're in there fighting and stealing. Okay, hold on. Marina is played by Zoe McLehan. She's another main actress in this. You've seen her in Jag, Designated Survivor, NCIS New Orleans, Mr. Holland's Opus, Inventing the Abbots. And she's our love interest. She's another member of the magical team that go on this mission. Now, but while they're in there, we have the arrival. We're hearing about Marina's talking to her boss in the college about the Rod of Sevril, and this is a new magic item that can control red dragons. And if you can control red dragons, you're going to win the war. You're going to take over the country. But Profion has this little elfy listening guy in the background, listening to Marina talk to her head magician about this Rada Seville, and now Profion knows about it, and he sends Damodar to retrieve it, or to get more information. And while he arrives at the college, he kills Marina's boss, and Ridley and Snail get involved with this whole story now. So yeah, that's how it's sort of coming together here with the story. And yeah, the thing about this movie is it's like nothing quite came together. The cast didn't come together. The CGI didn't come together. The story's all right. I mean, you're getting your fantasy fix out of this. Yeah, the cast didn't come together. The directing didn't come together. Yeah, it's a perfect storm, and it's a bit of a shame because there's a likable cast here. There's a likable story. I mean, I'd say if you saw this as a kid, you'd probably have what would you say, nostalgia for this movie. So Ridley and Snail escape with Marina through a portal of some sort, and Marina is an aristocrat. She's a low level mage. So we have this sort of hierarchy, and you have your mages who sort of rule the show, and everyone else is commoner or not as good as the mages. Now the Empress is sent a tracker after Marina, and I suppose she's trying to get her hands on the rod too. And our tracker is played by Kristen Wilson, and she was in Doctor Dolittle 1 and 2, Bulletproof, and Walking Tall. So they're all looking for this Rod of Seville, and they know that if they don't get their hands on it, Profion's going to win the war. He's going to control the Red Dragons, and he's going to control the country. So that's the big deal. But to get their hands on the Rod of Seville, they have to get the Eye of the Dragon, which is a key to get them into the place they need to get to. And they have to go to Richard O'Brien. Yes, the maze master himself, Richard O'Brien. He plays Xylus, and Ridley has to complete a maze to get the Eye of the Dragon. So, yeah, you may know Richard O'Brien. You may have heard of his name. Dark City, The Rocky Horror Picture Show, Shock Treatment, Spice World, the movie Revolution, Flash Gordon, and The Maze. Oh, what's the name of the Maze show? There's a Maze show he was on. He's the Maze Master, and it kind of feels like he's back in that role in this. The Crystal Maze. The Crystal Maze. Yes, that's an English show he did. So Ridley has to get the Eye of the Dragon, and he succeeds in Richard O'Brien's or Xylus's Crystal Maze. So yeah, we have the elf involved in this, who's called Norda, and we also have a dwarf called Elwood Guthworthy. I didn't mention him earlier, but he tags along as well, and he's played by Lee Arenberg, and you may have seen him in Pirates of the Caribbean movies, Robocop 3, Waterworld, Brain Dead, The Wizard, Class of 1999, and he's done a lot of TV as well. Friends, Seinfeld, Star Wars, or Star Trek, Voyager and Enterprise, CSI, Scrubs, and American Gods. So he's done a lot of work for a long time. He was very good in Pirates of the Caribbean, but he was sort of muted in this. He was, it's like he was reined in. He could have been funnier, in my opinion. So right, they've got their hands on the Eye of the Dragon, and our guy Ridley gets in to get the rod. He gets into the place he needs to go to get the Rod of Seville, and we discover that he's more powerful than we thought, and he's not just a thief. He's a man of hidden talents, and keep that for the sequel. So they have to go and rescue Marina. Marina is talking to Daramir, and we find out that he's got something in his head that's controlling him. He doesn't want to do Profion's bidding, but he has to, because he's got something in his brain that is controlling him and making him do what Profion wants. And there's a scene where these things come out of his ears and cause trouble for Marina, or she's trying to suck information out of her brain with his thingamajig. So now they have to all go to the castle to rescue Marina, where Daramir is, and we lose Snail. Snail gets killed. Oh, heartbreaking. Poor old Snail. He was our humor in this, and Ridley gets injured, and he gets taken to see the elves by Norda. And our healing elf is Tom Baker. Yes, Tom Baker. You've seen him in Doctor Who, the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Little Britain. His voice is used in Little Britain as the narrator. And yeah, nice to see him in this. And he plays our wise elf who's going to heal Ridley, and he does. But he gives him a warning about the rod. It's unnatural. It's man-made. It should not be disturbed. It can destroy the fabric of magic. Okay, so now we're getting to the end of our movie. Ridley's got the rod of Sevril. He got the eye of the dragon. Now he's got the rod. He's got Marina back in action. He's got his team together, his dwarf, his elf. So he's going to go and help the Empress. But the Empress is already attacking the mage's castle with her brown dragons, and they're being held off with bad CGI again by Jeremy. Jeremy is fighting back with his mages, and Daramir gets the rod to Jeremy. Daramir gets the rod to Profion, and he attacks the princess with the red dragons. There's also a lightsaber fight between Daramir and Ridley wins. Go Ridley with your yeah. There's a sort of a magic sword battle, and it reminds me a lot of Star Wars. And then we have Profion and Ridley fighting, and the other arrives to help, and Ridley gets his hands on the red rod and destroys it. And then the princess arrives, and Profion gets eaten, and everyone is now equal in the kingdom, and they bury snails. And that's about it. That's the rundown there of this movie. What can I say? Yeah, it's an interesting sort of failure, because before Lord of the Rings came along, it was hard to make a good fantasy movie. There wasn't many of them. I mean, let's throw out a few there. Dragon Slayer. Disney tried. No, not really. Not very good. Krull. That was alright. Liam Neeson. Let's see. I mean, before the Lord of the Rings, fantasy movies were very missed. There wasn't many good ones. I mean, is Conan a fantasy movie? Conan the Barbarian? No dragons, no real fantasy, but a little bit. I think it's more a muscle man sword movie. So yeah, let's see. Any more fantasy movies? I suppose The Neverending Story. That worked pretty well. There was a Lord of the Rings cartoon that didn't work out too well. So, So yeah, they gave it a go. They tried to jump in on the fantasy bandwagon before the Lord of the Rings. I mean, this didn't have the story that the Lord of the Rings has. I suppose if you have a strong story, you have the foundation for a good movie. And yeah, this just didn't work out. Okay. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. And you might say I'm a bit generous with my score on here. But look, cast gave it their all. I think Jeremy gave it his all. He sure did. He gave it his all. He's pantomime, hammy. I don't know, but look, he tried his best. Who else? Yeah, it's a Marlon. He gave it his best. Justin Wallen. He gave it his best. Yeah, there's a lot to enjoy here. It's not the complete disaster, some might say. It's an entertaining sort of watch. Two stars out of 5. Fred's trying to be generous here. Anyway, okay, I gave you my rundown of the sort of key points of the story. I've spoiled it for you, but look, check it out. Check it out if you like fantasy. If you like fantasy movies, see how not to make a fantasy movie. How things can just go wrong, and hopefully someday, and eventually they did. They went right with Lord of the Rings. So you have this on one side and Lord of the Rings on the other, and yeah, there's a wrong way and there's a right way to do things. So yeah, Fred MacGuffin giving you the guff on Dungeons and Dragons. Fred MacGuffin's Review Dungeons and Dragons.